When you don't have boundaries, in fact, most of the times, you easily get mistreated. Yeah, you get people walking all over you. They do whatever they want with you because they know you never complain, you never challenge whatever they are doing with you.
Welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time, I am Dalenga and I am the founder of There Is Still Hope. There Is Still Hope is a place where we are encouraged to move away from past sorrows and move on and embrace a life that matters, a life of purpose. Please do subscribe and become part of the family. Well, today we are back and we are back with a different topic. It's a very familiar face that I'll be discussing this topic with today. Someone who's not so new to There Is Still Hope, and that will be Aune. Well, we're talking about boundaries. If this is anything that interests you, please stay tuned. This is the time and this is the moment to welcome my guest on There Is Still Hope. Well, thank you so much for joining me again today. This is the third time and it's always a pleasure to have you on my channel.
You're most welcome. I'm always happy to be here with you actually. I'm glad to be back. Yeah. My name is Aune. Aune is a social worker, but here today I'm not representing any office, any organization. I'm going to be speaking in my own capacity. And yes, just looking forward to
the discussion. Stay tuned. We're talking about boundaries. Someone out there would like to know, what exactly are boundaries?
Well, boundaries can be explained as rules, guidelines that you put in place to indicate what is acceptable and what is not acceptable to you. I mean, when it comes to interactions with other people. It's actually an act of love towards yourself.
Actually, when you're saying it's an act of love towards yourself, it may sound mean and a little bit selfish. What did you mean by that?
Well, yeah, you may be right to say it may sound like that, but it actually is not mean. It's not selfish either. By saying it's an act of love towards yourself, we mean it's you watching out for your own well-being. You are protecting your space, your personal space. And that is good for you as a healthy human being. Yeah, and in relation to other people, when people know what your boundaries are, they are well prepared when it comes to dealing with you. They know how far they can go. They know what to do around you, so they don't overstep your boundaries or end up stepping on your toes. So it's an act of respect towards them because then they are prepared. They will not be at the receiving end of your maybe anger or whatever form of reaction you will have when they overstep your boundaries.
But this requires that you communicate them.
Definitely. It's very important that we communicate the boundaries that we have for ourselves.
Because how will I know if you don't tell me?
Definitely.
Actually, listening to what you just said, that it's an act of love, it brings me where I'm now thinking, what happens exactly when one don't have boundaries? And I'm looking at things such as overspending, overcommitting, committing yourself to activities that you know that this does not serve you, having difficulty in saying no, knowing that I have somewhere else to go that I know that it's beneficiary to me, but because you don't know how to say no, you end up in a different place that is really not adding value in any way.
Exactly.
Or you might as well find yourself doing things that are against your values?
Yes, that's exactly very correct. And you know, also when you don't have boundaries, you might find yourself spending precious time, you know, time that you could have spent on things that are very important to you.
Yeah.
You go and spend it on things that really have no, like you said, no value whatsoever in it for you. So, and it's all because you cannot set boundaries to say, this one, it can pass, you know. And also, sometimes when you don't have boundaries, in fact, most of the times, you easily get mistreated.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get people walking all over you. They do whatever they want with you because they know you never complain, you never challenge whatever they are doing with you. You just express it, you know, put it out there to say, guys, this is not acceptable for me.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I will not allow this to happen, you know. So when one does not have that, you stand a chance of really being taken advantage of.
What are the signs when one doesn't have boundaries?
The signs can actually be obvious, but sometimes probably not that obvious. But some of those things that you can look at when you scrutinize your own life, we can talk of things like you being unable to speak up when mistreated.
Yeah.
You just keep quiet. You are not happy. You've taken note of how this person has spoken to you, or you've taken note of how they just malhandled your property, yet you just keep quiet. That's a big sign that boundaries are not in place. Another sign is when you are easily agreeable, even when you know you do not agree with whatever is being said. You will agree. You will say yes, even when really you do not agree. That's a sign. Another sign is also you tend to give up too much of your time. Even when sometimes you need this time to spend it on other important things, you would avail your time so many times. And this also gets you to feel taken advantage of, because you know when a person knows you're always available. Even when it's not convenient for you, you will always avail yourself, you'll always avail your time. People will keep coming back to you because you are the easy target, right? So you feel taken advantage of and probably not properly appreciated.
I'm actually thinking of even when you share too much details about your own life.
Exactly.
Whether it's now validation that you're looking for, or maybe you want to be accepted by people, you know, you tend to give too much information away. Or maybe you're looking for pity, you know, and all these things.
Exactly.
And most of the time, you become spottable. You tend to attract people that can dominate you, or rather take advantage of you, because you have no boundaries. Anybody can just say, can you do this? And they know for sure that you're going to do it.
And you know, usually people that like control, they like it where it's easy, you know, they can easily overstep whatever is now the boundary you have in place. But what more now if they are not even any boundaries? So such people will be attracted to you, be drawing them in. So those are also signs when you see yourself having too many people around you that just want to control your life. They want to make decisions for you. They want to run your life for you.
And too many people can't be doing the same thing. Like this person works in your life, they do the same thing. The next person works in your life, they do the same thing. Then the problem is actually you, and it's no longer them. Because they don't tell each other that let's do this to her. Then you need to set boundaries.
I also just wanted to highlight when you mentioned that when you lack boundaries, you tend to give up too much details about your life, and usually you would do that because you feel you owe people explanations. You know, you want to over-explain yourself to people, and it's not even like people really care in most cases. So you don't have to. When you have to, yes, but many times you don't have to over-explain yourself to people.
I'm also looking at someone who doesn't know how to say no. It's yes all the time. Or you, somebody asks you something, yes. You know, you don't even get to think. It comes spontaneously because you're so used to this thing. And it becomes so bad because the day that you learn how to set boundaries, people will question your no. Because since when do you say no again? You know, because they are used to you saying yes all the time.
Exactly. And you know, you not saying no does not make you a nice person, because sometimes you feel, I don't want problems. You just be saying yes. You know, saying no sometimes is good for you and even for other people. So again, it's something that one needs to work at, and especially when you are accustomed to saying yes or to doing life a certain way. It's a deliberate action you would need to take to unlearn that habit.
And sometimes as well, lack of boundaries comes with a chronic fear of what other people would say about you. You're so concerned, what are they going to say? No, I can't do this, what will they say? As if it's their life.
Exactly.
You know, that's also a sign that you lack boundaries.
It's like you make your life about other people. You live your life for other people. I mean, there's a place for that, but you should have started already with yourself before you extend now the hands to other people.
True that.
Yeah. One more thing I can add is when one of the signs you can also pinpoint is toxic relationships that you find yourself in most of the time. And one of those relationships can be where you are involved with people that are too controlling, you know.
And it can be it at work, be it your friends, you know, anywhere you go, like when you really find yourself that you are surrounded by toxic people, it's like you become a prey. Everybody finds it very easy to actually overstep your boundaries and just have their way.
Exactly.
After sharing all of this, what exactly are the benefits of setting boundaries?
Well, I'm sure we have touched on them already through the discussion. But just to highlight a few, one of the benefits is that when you have boundaries in place, you are protected from harm, either physical, emotional, whatever sort of harm, you are protected. Okay. Also, boundaries get you respect from other people and even from yourself. When you are able to stand up for yourself, you give yourself some credit. So and I think also one more benefit, like we also spoke before, is that it gives clear expectations for other people. They know what to expect when they are dealing with you, and that makes relationships easy. And
I would also like to add that it actually improves relationships.
Yes, definitely.
Because everybody knows that, okay, this is where I start with her and this is where I end with her. And it also improves your mental health.
Right.
At the same time, saying no to something that you feel like it's not really benefiting me in any way, or let me rather say it's not safe for me to do, is saying yes to something that really matters to me.
Exactly.
And setting boundaries is not only setting them with other people, it's also with yourself. For example, if you say, you know what, I'm going to be exercising every day, 5 o'clock I'm up and I'm going to exercise, that's a boundary. Or if you tell yourself that I'm not going to go on social media until I'm done with this assignment, it's a boundary that you have set for yourself. Or you tell yourself that I'm going to make sure that by the end of this month I must be through with this book. It's a boundary that you set yourself. Or if you tell yourself that, you know what, I will stick to my budget, that's also a boundary
with yourself. I want to believe that those ones that you set with yourself are like a training ground for you. You know, when you are able to keep them for yourself or with yourself, it's likely to be more easier when it comes to now other people.
Yes. Because you start with yourself first.
Exactly.
You can't not have boundaries with yourself, yet you have boundaries with other people.
Exactly.
Then there is an imbalance.
That's right.
Last but not least, how does one set boundaries?
How does one set boundaries?
Yes.
I think that's the most important question. Yeah, I feel to set healthy boundaries, one needs to know their needs. In any given circumstance, in any given situation, you should first understand what are my needs in this case. Somebody is suggesting to you, let's invest, let's start a business. This is how much we need to give. This is how much time it's gonna take us. And so you have to first look at yourself and in relations to the situation on the ground and be like, okay, given this situation now, do I really need this? What is in it for me? Am I ready? Am I prepared? Am I comfortable? Like, look at yourself as, examine yourself. Then you get to know what you really need. From there, you'll be able to set the necessary boundaries. I think another very important one also is that when it comes to setting boundaries, you should set them earlier on, like if it's in a relationship or you come in a new place. Even if it's with your kids, set them early enough so they know this is how we deal with this person. Because it's not really guaranteed that if you only set them later on, that people will really, take them serious. Or they would have treated you badly already for long periods because they didn't know any.
And one must also know how to say no. That's also another way of setting boundaries. You need to know how to say no. It's an art. It's an art that one needs to learn. Exactly. And you can't say yes all the time. I would always say you come first. So if you are saying yes all the time, it means you don't come first. And coming first means you must know the art of saying no. Because there are things that you would be asked to do that is against your values or is just going to take much of your time, that you might have spent in doing things that really would add value to your life in one way or another. But because you don't know how to say no, you end up saying yes for doing something else that adds value to someone else's life.
I think it's also important, like we mentioned, to say, be consistent about it. Because when people see that you yourself are not very serious about your own boundaries, they will also not take it serious. Maybe they would come and get away with it this time. Then the second time they still got away with it. So you will not expect a person like that to respect your boundaries. I think it's very important to mention that even after setting boundaries, it's still very possible to have people that will not respect them, people that would want to overstep them. So it is now on you to ensure and reinforce your boundaries always. That's how they will stick. Because for some people, they need it repeated over and over to them for them to eventually accept it.
At the same time, as much as we are actually talking about boundaries, we are also making it clear that boundaries does not mean being rude. It does not mean being mean or impolite. It actually means that you can tell the person that, look, it's this far and not further than this, in a very polite way, and also very firm. Sticking to it, rather to say. So I just want us to look at a few examples. I would ask you a question and I want you to actually answer me back. Say, for example, you're selling something at a certain price and I want you to lower it for me. And I ask you, can you please give it to me at this price? What would you say?
Well, that will depend, but if it's person is requesting me to lower my prices at a very unreasonable price, I'll probably say, no, I'm sorry, but I cannot lower my prices for you. I just hope you'll find someone else that can sell it to you at that price that you're asking.
Sweet and polite. So for example, you're at work, we're colleagues, and I just come and tell you, please, you need to do this for me. And you already have something else you're working on. What do you say?
Yeah, and I know that's very common, right? Especially in the workplace. But what I will most likely say something like, well, I wish I can assist, but right now I really cannot add any more work to what I'm currently busy with.
What if I come to you and I'm putting you under pressure on something and I'm demanding for an answer right now? What do you say?
Well, if I have an answer, I will give it to you. But if I don't have the answer right away, I'll probably say something like, well, I don't have the answer right now. I'll need time to think about it and I'll get back to you.
Okay. And my last words will be, beware of what is unacceptable and normalize saying no. As much as we would want to help people and really be nice, also understand that you deserve the best too. And it is not your responsibility to sacrifice yourself for other people. At the end of the day, you come first. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. We have come to the end of this episode. I must say it was a very interesting one.
Indeed.
And I really enjoyed sharing this this time with you. Thank you very much for joining us today, and thank you for your time. If this is your first time and you haven't subscribed yet, please do subscribe and become part of the family. And this should be the end of this episode. From me, Ndalinga.
In Aune.
It's a bye-bye from us.